Hi lovelies, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Linz. So we are going to be doing a one pot pork chop dinner today. I'm trying to use up a few bits and pieces I have in my freezer, but I will bring you through bits and pieces I'm using. I am also using today the Instant Pot Duo Mini. Apparently is the correct name for it. So it's only a 3 litre version, but if you have any type of a multi-cooker at all, then this is this really easy one for you to do, and it's just kind of throw it in and it's done. The hardest part is the prep. So we're going to come down. I have my Instant Pot here heated up for the fry setting, should we say. Wow, I'm tongue-tied. And or saute if that's what yours have. Just here I have one small onion. This is going to be loud, I apologize. And hold on. Now basically what happens is when you set the fry button or the saute button on this, it has a couple of minutes, and I've obviously let that go I've obviously let that go longer than the 6 minutes while I was waiting for that to heat up and I was getting the camera sorted out. So basically that there is your onion. Now I have here two pork chops. Now these were just in one of them big economy type packs. I have a few of these left in the freezer, but I think going on into this year I'm going to check out some of my local butchers to see, you know, what sort of deals they have, because although these are good value, they're very pitiful, shall we say. So I am now just going to add them. Can I get you any closer? Let's see. I am now just going to add the pork chops in with them onions that are just frying off. That's that. Now, for my seasonings today, I am going to be using sage. Again, this is completely up to yourselves on what type of seasonings you like. If you are doing this in what most of you will probably have, maybe the 5 or 6 litre one, then you'd probably be doubling this recipe. So just double everything I'm putting in, basically. So to start off with, I am doing 1 teaspoon of sage, 1 teaspoon of parsley, then I have just some white ground pepper. Now I don't measure this out, I just kind of eyeball that, so however much you like. And then just some standard table salt. I'm just going to leave them to fry off just for a few minutes. Now, when all the vegetables and things like that were being reduced in and around sort of like the holiday time, I bulked up on them. So I have a few Brussels sprouts that are going in here. I will say, when you get your vegetables and you can get them quite cheap, these are a great way to do it. You just kind of boil them up for a few minutes, put them into some ice cold water, and I absolutely love my vacuum sealer, which I can link down below if any of you are interested. So just a few Brussels sprouts. Here I have some carrots, again done the same way. As you can see, these are all frozen. So use fresh if you want, it won't make any difference to your cooking times. And this here is some parsnip. So I would say there might be roughly around 2 large carrots here and 1 smallish parsnip. I'm not just adding them just yet. And I also have a couple of lonely potatoes that were left in the fridge. So I am just going to turn them over. Like that. I don't advise you doing this when you're cooking with it, moving the pot, but that's just to kind of show you what's going on. And that there is basically that much. So however much you want to brown them off, I don't let them completely brown, I just leave them just for a few minutes. And also I have here, this is 400 mils. I'm using chicken stock. You can use any stock you want. And I am trying to use up bits and pieces I have in my cupboard at the minute. So I just have some of this, but this isn't going to go in until afterwards. Now, so if I can, I wish that lead was longer on that there. If I can just show you, it's basically what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw that off to one side. Now, you want to make sure you have absolutely nothing stuck to the bottom of your pan, because that can cause you to get a burn notice. Make sure anything that sticks is kind of scraped off. Now at the moment I am just going to add a tiny little bit of that stock. And that's just going to make sure that anything that might be stuck to the bottom of that pan is kind of called deglazing, I suppose. Now we're going to pull up them pork chops. We're going to throw in all of our veg. Take them out, put them on a plate if it makes it easier. But yeah, we're not that... So literally everything is just getting thrown in, and I want them pork chops to sit on top. Now inside your Instant Pot there is lines on where the max mark is. You don't really want to go over that. Now as I said, this is a small pot, so we pour in the rest of that. Did I say that was 400 mils in there? Like that. And that's just telling me that where I had the fry function on, that is finished. So we cancel that. Bring it back so you can see a bit. As I said, that is perfectly fine. You can't see. That is perfectly fine in there where the levels are concerned. But you really want to make sure you never go over this. Otherwise, what can happen is a load of stuff can start spraying out of the top of here, and you don't want that. So if you're using this type of a system where you have this vent, then make sure it is on the sealing option. I'm going to pop that on. Now with this being the smaller version, I only put this on to high pressure. So we go on to high pressure. Now I put this on for 10 minutes. If them chops were a little bit bigger, then I would suggest maybe go one up a few minutes, maybe to 15. If you're doing it in the bigger Instant Pot, which a lot of you might be doing, then again, I would say 15, because that's what I used to do when I had the bigger one. But that is basically it for that part of it anyway. And then after that's done, it's 10 minutes on high pressure if you're using this one, 15 if you're using a bigger model. I hope that's making sense, lovelies. I am planning on getting another bigger model, so you know it'll just be easier for some of you to follow along, and that way then I can get back to doing a lot of my bulk batch cooking where I just can have meals ready in the freezer. Basically, I am really yabbering on now, but basically that is going to come up to pressure. That will do 10 minutes, and then I am going to leave mine to do what's called a natural release, which is leaving it for 10 minutes afterwards. So it will come up with a sign for however long, and I will leave mine for around 10 minutes. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit longer, and then I will bring this back and I will finish off making my one pot pork chop dinner, something along those lines. Anyway, right, lovelies, we'll be back when it's done. Now, lovelies, this has, as we can see from the timer, has gone over by the 10 minutes. But as I said, that is not a big deal. What we're going to do now is very carefully, you can use these, it will make it safer. Just push that over. That, I think, is the scariest part of doing the pressure cooker. Now, if my microphone's working the way it should have done, then it should have probably just give you a general idea of what the loudness of that was at the beginning, and it should then cut the background noise out, but whether it works that way or not, I don't know. So as you can see already, this takes a lot longer for the release of the pressure to come out than it did, say, if you've seen my tomato sauce one. We'll get there. Also, I just want to mention, if you were using, you know, your utensils in the beginning, you want to make sure you have washed them again before you go to use them again on this, because don't forget you were using raw meat, or you were using them with raw meat. Oh my days, I will get this right one day. Yep, it's just taking a little bit longer today. Now, if you have sort of a cooker hob where you have an extraction fan over the top, just make sure you've no power or anything going, and you can put a chopping board on top of your cooker and then use the extractor fan. That's what I would normally do, but because I'm trying to film, we have to put it this way. So we are just going to move that off. Remember, that can, if you're not filming, fit just in there as well, but we're just going to throw that off to one side. Now, I am just going to remove the pork chops out of that for a minute. If you are new to pressure cooking and you're just not 100% sure, just use a thermometer, and you know, just use a thermometer to make sure everything's ready. But mine are done. And what I'm going to do now is, I only have a tiny little bit left in there of these granules, so I'm just going to literally throw them in. You can be more precise with yours and measure yours out, or another way you can do this is with some corn flour, if you'd prefer it to be a little bit thicker. And you know what, that has just actually come to the perfect sort of consistency for the gravy. So I'm just going to pop them pork chops, and they've just, if you've seen that, they've just fell apart because they're that well cooked. It's got to be better than having dried out ones done in the air fryer. If you've seen that video. Now, that there, because it is still classed as on the keep warm setting, I'll bring this back up, will stay warm for as long as you want it. You can just leave the lid just sort of sitting back on top of that then, and it's ready to serve up when you're ready for it. Another thing is that this freezes really, really well. So you can just portion some up, Ziploc bags or some containers for the freezer, and it just really is one of them things. I would then, if I was doing that, after it's been frozen, take it out of the freezer the night before, defrost it in the fridge, and then I would just heat it up in the pan, or you can heat it up in your Instant Pot or multi-cooker either. So I will insert, what will I do? I will insert some pictures of this dished up coming up now. Lovelies, wherever you are, make sure you have a fantastic day, night, wherever you are. Stay warm or stay cool, depending on which country you're in, because I know a few of you are from the other side of the world, which still completely amazes me. But lovelies, take care, and yeah, we will see you all. Talk to you all down in the comments below or over on another video. I apologise for this one. It has been a little bit of one of my tongue-tied brain fog ones, but hey, take care.